Welcome everybody to Monday night's empowerment session. Tonight we will be talking about the AvantGreens and the power of sprouted greens. And we are going to start right out of the gate with asking Miss Christy Gross to share with us. Apparently she has a really neat story we need to hear. So Christy, please take it away.
Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing? So I actually first was introduced to Soul by Thrive via Ashley Brandon. I've had thyroid cancer and my thyroid and parathyroids removed when I was 20 years old, and I'm 47 now. So for 27 years, I haven't had a thyroid or parathyroids. So thyroid issues have been kind of a daily constant with me for over half my lifespan. And as y'all probably know, the correlation between thyroid and adrenal system, they really do work as a sister system to support each other. And so Ashley gave me some of the Thrive to try. And at first, obviously, it tastes good. So everybody enjoys, the flavor of it. But really digging past what the package says on, obviously, the amino acids, the omegas, the fiber, sprouted greens and the additional herbs that are in there are phenomenal for blood purification, lymphatic movement, in addition to magnesium-rich sprouts. And so that all is going to support the thyroid, but it really can produce an increase of energy without the jitters. American ginseng is phenomenal for being an adaptogenic herb that can kind of boost your energy level without causing the jitteriness of like a Siberian ginseng. So I quickly played around. I love taking herbs, and I'll often play around with taking them for a good lengthy period of time for like 6 to 8 weeks, and then sometimes going off of them to kind of see the difference. And I really do notice just more liveliness, better lymphatic movement as well when I am on the Thrive. One of my personal favorite ways to do Thrive for like an afternoon pick-me-up is celery juice, apple. So I have a juicer, and I'll juice celery, apple, a full organic lemon, and everything is organic, a full lemon, including the rind, and ginger. It has just a hint of spiciness and sweetness with the ginger and the apple combo. And then that alkalinizing benefits of the lemon, it tastes amazing. And if you just give Thrive a chance to kind of like add it into your routine in the afternoons, I'm sure you'll notice the same differences that I have.
Thank you, Christy. That recipe sounds amazing. I love to juice it.
So good. Ashley and I played around with a lot of different juices, and that particular combination is absolutely delicious.
Well, I'm definitely a ginger and lemon fan, so I'll be trying that one. Thank you, Christy, for sharing.
Thank you very much.
So as Chrissy was talking about, the Thrive is absolutely loaded, and it's hard to pick what to focus on when it comes to this product because it does have so many benefits. So I want to kind of highlight a couple areas, but make certain that people that are new to this combination, and of course the new name is AvantGreens. Right now, most people, I'm going to use these interchangeable so people know what we're talking about. The transformational herbal blend, like Chrissy said, it's got that American ginseng in it, yellow dock. And this top picture here is a picture of yellow dock. Yellow dock is a plant that I had always used in the past because of its ability to help the blood carry iron, and I could get the iron counts where they needed to be for people. It also worked very good for people dealing with seasonal affective disorder. And I had a couple daughters that would deal with that. And of course, they're my daughters that love going to the beach, and I had to remind them, like, you guys love the sunshine. We probably ought to make certain you're supported here. Red raspberry leaf, all of you know how that is such a favorite of mine for supporting women's health, no matter what stage of life. but it's also outstanding with its astringent qualities for supporting the digestive tract. In fact, when my kids used to get the flu, I'd mix up a gallon of that tea, and they would have to, in fact, it's one of the few times they got to maybe watch TV or something, but every time a commercial would come on, they'd have to drink a measuring cup size worth of that. And it worked really well for them to get over colds and flu quickly. Podiarco is in this, which is outstanding for supporting blood health. And also a lot of people use it when it comes to issues with candida. There we go. Holy basil extract is going to be outstanding for mental health, and it's going to be one of our adaptogenic herbs, what helps with overwhelm. Ginkgo biloba, we're going to see with circulation and getting things to the brain. Sarsaparilla powder and extract helps to balance hormones. It does work well for just cleaning the blood. Hawthorn is another plant that I love because how it supports the heart. Licorice root powder does help for balancing blood sugar. And it also, as a side note, was one of the ones I would use when my youngest would lose her voice when she gets sick. And licorice was one of the things I could use to get her voice back very quickly. Rosemary extract, very good for circulation. Ginger with the digestive tract. And then we're going to talk a little bit more on mimosa. And before I forget, Christy, if you could type in and share in the chat your recipe for that. I've already had a request come in for that recipe of what you did. Let's talk about the mimosa. It is, besides being, for me, one of my favorite trees, and the smell, the odor of it when I would walk, it's just phenomenal. A lot of people are not familiar with the ways that you can use this in alternative health. So these are some of the different things that it's known for. Its antioxidant properties. It does utilize and work as an adaptogen, so therefore it's not going to surprise you at all how it helps to normalize mood. It does help with the natural regulation of your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which means we're going to work with hormones, with sleep, with stress, the whole 9 yards. It balances all of that together. And as you see right there, I've got it helps promote sleep, skin health. This also has some anti-inflammatory properties, digestive support. But here is one aspect I really wanted to focus on with it. How it helps to support the body's natural balance, or otherwise its ability to switch back and forth between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. Now, people ask me what that is. So I wanted to spell this out. So sympathetic means that it helps the autonomic nervous system, or the autonomic means those things that are happening in your body that you don't have to think about. For instance, your heart beating, your eyes dilating and going back and forth. So things like that, breathing, the lungs. So sympathetic is your autonomic nervous system, and support where it comes in supporting it for fight or flight when you're looking at the sympathetic side. When you're looking at the parasympathetic side, has to do with your autonomic nervous system's ability to rest and digest. Now, for me, this comes in very important. I am one of those people that has been challenged with my body's ability to flip out of that fight or flight response and being able to go into the rest and digest system part of it. Therefore, for me, I've had to create certain routines to even settle down at the end of the day so that I sleep well. I have my routines with my bath, with my Epsom salts, with some calm. I do the Renew Cinnamate tea. I know that I stopped doing any type of business talk. It has to be done by 8 o'clock because we go to bed at 9 o'clock. All these patterns, I even take the hot bath, will help my system to flip. But anything that we can get that helps the body to do that more naturally on its own and easily is going to be beneficial to the system. And I know that I'm not the only person that has ever had these challenges here. So we talk about with the AvantGreens, or that they are activated greens. And this is kind of neat to me, and I want to explain why it is. So with activated greens, what we're talking about is we have not only added some enzymes in there like bromelain, but you're going to find that the greens themselves, once they've been sprouted, they have enzymatic abilities that are activated in there. We've got some probiotics added into this, We have additional adaptogens added in there, and then the fact that they're sprouted. All these components make these so much more powerful of a green combination. And I do want to tell you that a lot of those plants we listed off and some of these other ones we're going to look at, people are not ordinarily going to eat them in their everyday diet. And if they do, they certainly don't get enough of them that easily. So having all the added ability to get the full benefit of these is quite impressive. So sprout benefits. I don't know how many of you grew up with these sitting on your kitchen counter, but I was one of those kids. And on that, we would have maybe 5 or 6 different jars of them lined up. We'd have alfalfa sprouts, radish sprouts, lentil sprouts. I mean, you name them, they were up and down our counters. And so this was part of our daily routine. And you know what? It's a lot of work. So for me, the ability to just reach into the AvantGreens bags and get a scoop and add what I want to it, to what I'm making, whether it's a smoothie or mixing it with my Vital, is just so simplifying to my daily life. I love it. But sprouts have a lot of benefits. They are outstanding, and this is kind of generalized. They balance blood sugar. They do help improve digestion. And one of the neat things that happens when you start the sprouting process is by soaking it in the water, it allows the phytic acid or the protective coating for the seed to allow it to propagate in the ground to be broken down so that the goodness and the nutrients come out of it. Otherwise, it is so protective that if we just eat the seed without soaking and allowing it to start to sprout, then we can't get the benefits. So sprouts also help support the heart. They work with blood circulation, weight balancing, and sprouts are, they're so nutrient dense and they don't have all the high calories. Immune system health helps support eyesight, helping to alkalize the body. And again, so many people, you'd have to almost graze in the field all day long, really, to get as much as you need to get to a therapeutic dosage easily without stressing yourself out like we have in this package. It helps support hair growth, skin health in a big way. And again, we talked about the dense nutrition, and it does have protein, and all these things, properties get activated when we start the sprouting process. So these are some of the sprouted parts that we have in here. And if you look at the back of your package, it will talk about the sprouted nutrition blend. We've got the sprouted flax. We've got the hemp flour, alfalfa sprouts. I cannot even tell you how many alfalfa sprouts I've had in my life. Sprouted chia, quinoa. Quinoa is such a great protein, but yet if it's not prepared correctly, a lot of people don't enjoy it. Sprouted amaranth powder. Watercress, very good for its ability to get into some detoxification abilities. The lactobacillus sporogenes, we're talking about that probiotic blend. The aronia powder, which is very high in some vitamin C, the B vitamins, some different minerals. Monk fruit, your chlorophyll, in this case, the sources from the mulberry. And then we talked about the bromelain. This is, if you haven't figured out, my part that I'm focusing on is the power of the sprouts, because it is something that is lacking in so many people's diet, because either they don't want to eat it, don't have an affinity towards it, don't want to take the time to make it, they get challenged with trying to buy it, or if they get it, it can spoil easily. So again, all that's been taken out of your hands. So this is neat, and this is what I was talking about, how it increases its nutrient levels. I wanted to point out vitamin C, because when you get in and look at the history of sprouting, if you go back to the time when all the seafarers were out, voyaging, Captain Cook, and they started dealing with scurvy. They actually, before they figured out that it was tied to, that they could get good results with using lemons and oranges, they figured out that if you sprouted and some of the beans that they had on hand, and then they made like a gruel out of it, and they would eat this daily. They were able to challenge and get rid of scurvy. Vitamin C is so important in the bodies for collagen health. It's going to be important for bruising. It's important in almost every action that the cell does when it comes to immunity. So sprouts, and the fact that we've got this vitamin C, which I think surprises so many people, that's why I want to make certain I pointed that out. Now, Ann Wigmore is one of the people that was really cutting edge with the work that she did with sprouts. And this is something that you just really can't, it's hard to explain to people or capture. And it's called what she referred to as a vital food factor. And she talks about the energy currents that flow through everybody's living bodies, and that's what differentiates them from dead bodies. And she says sprouts are biogenic. They are alive. She says, and I'm convinced that a carload of cooked food cannot do for the healing and regeneration of the human body what a single sprouted seed will do. Imagine a farmer cooking seeds before sowing them. For that matter, can you picture in your mind any food in your present diet that, when planted, will sprout and grow up to create a new life? Cooked grains, beans, or vegetables won't. Neither will animal foods such as meat, eggs, and cheese. Only uncooked, germinated seeds, grains, nuts, and beans can give us their living energy. This is part of the component that makes our AvantGreens so unique, and why this is so, it becomes invaluable to us. Even if you're just sprinkling a little bit in there, it's so beneficial. We are starting to see more and more pregnant women using this. We're seeing moms starting to put this into smoothies for their children. They're getting them used to the taste of these, and what it's doing for their healing right out the gate is so huge. So we have a really neat testimony from Stephanie. She shared, and she's only been doing this for 3 weeks. And this testimony came in this morning. How timely is this? It says, I've been taking the maca and the greens, plus a vital first thing in the morning, religiously since I received them. It's almost been a full menstrual cycle, and I must say, during my PMS phase, I am usually swept up in emotions. Always have been. Admittedly, it's gotten more extreme in the last year or so. I have somewhat accepted it for what it is for me. I tell myself, maybe this is aging, blah, blah, etc., etc. But I had to tell you, this month I barely noticed, and it's been amazing. I'm completely calm, patient, and present with my kids, which is normally where my struggle lies this time of the month. I feel more rested and energetic, enough so to be up at 5 a.m. exercising for the last 3 weeks as well. This is big for me, and I'm very happy so far with this combo of things. And I just love what she's using here. So she's using the Soul Maca XD, the AvantGreens, and Vital. And what a powerful combination, and see the results that she's having already. And when you also think of that component there with the vital force energy, in essence, that's coming from all these different plants we've got in the AvantGreens. Wow. No wonder she's having such a powerful result. So at this point, I'm asked Greg to share a little bit about the monk fruit that is in our AvantGreens. So Greg, do you need me to share the screen, or you just want to unmute?
Hello, Val, and hi, everybody. Yeah, I can, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind. Do I have the capability of sharing screen? I think, oh no, I'm not. You can make
I am going to make it happen.
I mean, it's really a quick answer as to why we chose monk fruit, but I have 4 or 5 slides that there's.
Yeah, I shared it.
Okay, awesome. Let me share that with you then, because Valerie asked me to talk a little bit about, okay, why did we choose monk fruit? And it is true, you know, part of what we do is keeping in mind the sweetener, because some of those wonderful herbs don't taste particularly good. And we have, for some time, Lohan has gained and increased in popularity. I think the reason is, it is sweet. You know, all natural sweet things have they all have a different curve. The sweetness comes sooner or later, or kind of in the middle. And monk fruit is one of those that tends to have a different curve than, say, the stevia family. And the sweetness hits at a different time. So that was one factor, but really the clincher is because of how really nutritious it is. Because in listening to Valerie today, Soul Thrive and now AvantGreens really was all about super dense nutrition along with accompanying herbs that will influence the body processes that Valerie's talked about today. I mean, from the way we detox to literally the way thyroid and adrenals work together. And I mean, that was one whole topic by Dr. Allison. If you remember, as when we launched it, she did a whole series on that point of emphasis, and how much of a difference it could make in today's world, and in the way we believe women are, and I think men as well, are putting up with wellness changes that they don't have to, that are a result of sort of our modern world. We'll say it that way: the foods that are available and the stresses, etc. So Lohan, or the monk fruit, was part of the group that was highly nutritious. It also is a really good sweetener, but it's quite nutritious, and it does do some of the things that Valerie talked about earlier. What I thought I'd just show you, though, is, if I can, it's that little group, because Valerie talked a lot about nutrition and sprouts, and I agree with her. Sprouts are the turbo. If AvantGreens are this wonderful green engine to change things and provide energy in a therapeutic way, then the turbo part of that is sprouts. And it doesn't mean that the other plants aren't really good. They're complementary to these sprouts, and that's what I want to show you really quick. For instance, hemp seed. Certain amino acids that help with detoxing. The perfect ratio of omega-3 to omega-6s in hemp seed, and the full protein. Back to what Valerie said about a couple of sprouts. All 9 essential amino acids, all of them that we don't produce, are in these sprouts, and very high in omega-3s. And these are just two, we call them, they're used like grains, but they're seeds, right? The quinoa and amaranth that Valerie mentioned. And Valerie already mentioned this, but this is evidence of what she just said. That I don't know if I can pronounce it right, Valerie, the glucoraphanin. I'm not even sure if that's pronounced correctly. But that chemical produces many enzymes, and in a sprout, it's between 10 and 100 times the quantity of a mature plant. So back to Valerie's comment about all the enzymes that happen because of sprouts. And then these are the last two I wanted to show you. The chokeberry, the aronia berry, more effective in studies than cranberry for UTIs. That always raises a few eyebrows. Look at the blood benefits and protecting neurons and memory. It's really a superstar that's very little featured in general, I think. But aronia berry, I believe the ORAC is crazy high on it as well. Here we go. Allison had a slide on that. Among all the fruits, it was the highest. The ORAC was the highest. And this was a large list. I mean, I don't know if it was completely exhaustive, but it was a very large list of fruits. And this is the one I wanted to end with, because this is part of why we did Lohan, okay, and monk fruit. Super nutritious, but look at this watercress that's in there too. More iron than spinach, more calcium than milk. I love Dr. Allison, more vitamin C than oranges. More. Then these feature hero fruits and veggies, and watercress has more of it. So that's why we did the monk fruit, honestly, because we were only picking components in this that met the dense nutrition component as well as whatever other purpose. And so we really tried to, Valerie knows she was part of that process. As we weighed in different herbs, we gave favor to those that also were really dense in nutrients. Long answer, but that's how monk fruit came about.
Well, and exactly like you said, it's so powerful what we have in there, but that doesn't mean they taste great. So to take that edge off is really important in order so that we'll get people to take it, because not everyone's willing to just take the dive in. Like, if someone tells me it's good for me, I'm just going to do it. So, but I'm part of the rarity there.
Yeah.
I wish this would let me go back easily to, but let's go here. There we go. So when people are asking where to start, you guys know how I am such a strong believer in that Bella Health package. And honestly, the Thrive becomes a fantastic addition to adding into that, because once you've gotten the digestive tract up and running, maybe in the second or third month, you know, I would not hesitate to add in the Thrive. I mean, you don't have to wait that long. Because it's something I use every day. I'm a big believer in it. But again, that Vital is going to get an alkalized. So in combination with the Thrive, we've got even more alkalizing power. And when you alkalize the body, it allows the acids to leave, which means in essence, we're helping to the body to heal the itises and helping it to move forward in building health. The Cinnamate, again, we're talking about digestive strength. Well, look what a great pairing that is with that AvantGreens, with what the sprouts are going to bring to the table, along with the bromelain and the and then when we've got the good bacteria that we got in there, in addition to the probiotic, and then the enzymes. Can you see why this is a beautiful fit in addition to this package? If you're really looking at just working at foundational health, this to me is such a score and such a good fit. I would be hard pressed to actually separate that out of this package. A lot of us, when we first started using the, at that point it was called Soul Thrive, now it's known as the AvantGreens. It did so much good for helping to regulate cycles, helping to support the thyroid, working with general energy. Like I was saying, it helps to flip the switch so that the adrenals can calm down in the evening. For those of us have spent times in our lives dealing with adrenal fatigue, that is one of the challenges, is those adrenals being able to shut off at night so that you can sleep. The Thrive is a great, or the AvantGreens is a great thing to add to that. And this right here is a picture of watercress. I really do love watercress and its ability to get in for the detoxification process. And that, in addition to all the alkalizing powers that come with this combination, really allows for that deeper healing to happen. And this was just such a great, timely quote. Said, the food you eat can either be the safest and the most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. So think about that with your AvantGreens, just adding that into your daily regimen. No matter what amount you're adding in, you are getting benefits, and you truly are building your foundation and helping work towards healing. Now, next week on Monday night, we'll be talking about Soul Complete and its ability to strengthen the intestinal tract. In fact, I have so many testimonies on that. I am sure that I will be hard pressed to cut it down to just a few to fit into our 30 minutes. So very excited. It's another topic you won't want to miss. So at this point, we are going to